Today we'll be solving a very simple problem. So I'll be teaching you how to swap two variables in Python. If you have a variable called a with a value 10 and another variable called b with a value 20, then at the end of the program, we should have a equals to 20 and b equals to 10. I'll show you two ways how we can solve this in Python. Let me go into my code editor and you see how this works. First, we'll create a file called swap. I'll create it here. I have a folder here called solutions. So I'll create a file here called swapping.py. And let's copy the problem and paste here. We'll paste the problem here so that it's be good to be seeing the problem while we program. This is a typical beginner-friendly problem. So let's start by creating two variables, a equals to 10 and b equals to 20. I'm giving space here for readability. I can make it bigger for the eyes. And to swap this, we'll create a temporary variable, temp, I'll call it temp, and we'll give it the value of a. This means in line 13, we are copying the value of a into the variable temp. And now we take the value that we have in b and give it to a. We copy the value of of b, which is 20, and give it to a. And now what happens then? Then we need to take the value that we have inside the temporary variable and give it to b, like that. Now we can safely do like this: print f before swapping. We have a equal to a, b equal to b. And after swapping, a equals to a and b equals to b. So let's run this. This is the value. Before swapping, a equals to 10, b equals to 20. After swapping, a is equals to 20 and b equals to 10. What do you think the value of 10 would be? To swap this using a more Pythonic way, those who program in Python, they call them Pythonists. So, and we have Pythonic ways of doing things. We can use a one-liner. Here we don't need to introduce another variable, and we do like that. This is swapping in Python. One line, line 22. And if we run this again, then you see this happens. If you are interested to see how this works, how this has worked behind the hood, keep watching. Let me show you how this is working. If you see, this is the problem. You know that a variable is just a position in the memory that holds a value. So we have a and b. A has a value of 10 and b has a value of 20 initially. At the end of the program, it should be like this. A should be 20 and b should be 10. Normally in programming, what happens is that we take the inputs, do some processing, and then give out the output. In this case, it's very trivial, as you saw in the problem description. The value of a and b have been swapped. But what really happened for this to happen? You saw me introduce a temporary variable, and I copied the value of a into this temporary variable. And the next step would be to copy the value of b into a, like that. And now b and a has the same value. In order to change the value of b, we just take the value that we have stored in the temporary variable and copy into b. I asked a question before that what would be the value of temp, the temporary variable that we had in our program. Here, when I was asking, what's the value? And behold, that's the value that you see here. whatever value that A had at the beginning is the same value that will remain in the term. You see, we're just moving values from one variable to another. That is why they call swap. So if you are interested to see how this works, how this was working, and in code, this is how it is. I'll run my Python debugger so you can see the values. I put a breakpoint here, put another breakpoint here, and put a breakpoint here, just here. No, here, I'll put it here. So you can see what is happening. Let me have one on the print statements. I will debug this code. I run the Python debugger, debug this file, and you will see what is happening. This is the initial program. A equals to 10, B equals to 20. I call it step 0. If I go next step, you see step 0 is printed, A equals to 10 and B equals to 20. I introduce the temporary variable and copy the value that we have in A into this temporary variable. And if I go next, you see the temporary variable is being created and it has a value that A has, 10. Now we copy the value that we have in B into A, and you see the value of B and A are the same. It is the same thing that we had in this slide. Same thing that we had. This is the stage that we had. And the next stage is taking the value of temp, just as we had here. I showed you. We take the value of temp into B like that. And this is what has happened in code too. This line, 19. We do like that. And if I go to the next, you see the value of temp and the value of B are the same. They have now assumed the initial values that we had for A. And if I run, our program ends like this. It starts here. It goes when we introduce our temporary variable and copy the value of A into it. We took the value of B into A. And the last is taking the value of temp into B. Simple, isn't it? If you found this video useful, please do not forget to like it. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe so that videos of this nature can show up in your feed when I upload new content. Thank you and see you in the next video.